All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the first.
Okay, wait a minute. Everything we said before now we have to delete.
I'm editing.
Whoa! I didn't know we were recording all that.
But then I don't have to get
Sorry,
up
Germany.
again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first coaches corner of the FAI World Championship here this year at Scottsdale, Arizona, and it is a magic coaching corner.
There we go.
Doug.
Where's Doug?
We're missing Doug, but
we're missing one now. But we have the 3 four-way world champions of 2004 here together. Here at Magic, Mr. Gary Smith, Mr. Joey Jones, and
Kurt.
Solly Williams. Welcome and thank you for taking the time. We have time, right? Because we're not four-ways coming up soon, but
Yes.
you're not involved in eight-way this time.
No, I mean the 8-way is busy jumping right now. They expected the winds to pick up already, but apparently they still believe it's coming, some weather. And then the 4-way starts at noon. So we all arrive at noon ready to go. And the 8-way is going pretty quick. They're going up now for their 4th round of the day. So that'll be round 7. Just landed from round 6.
do you know if they're going to do 8 rounds, get up to round 8?
No,
seven.
4. What I heard from is 4 rounds, and
So
then
they'll
did
do
3
round
years.
7.
So 7, up to 7.
All right.
It's going well, and yeah, it's going interesting too, right? Some interesting things are happening.
I mean,
in
the
eight-way.
8-way, in my opinion, was over after round 2, but I heard that something happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just learning of the German 8-way team, making things a little interesting. Yeah.
They were on their way to do a German national record, though, correct? They were going to break the record, but unfortunately they had a bit of a hiccup jump.
A little bit of a hiccup.
A little bit of a
Terrible
hiccup.
I haven't seen anything like this in many years.
And I'm sure they would agree themselves. Those are, you don't wish that on anybody, and it happened to them, unfortunately. But they are still 5 points up after the 5 rounds. 5 points up. I still see them as strong.
Yeah.
First 8-way medal for Germany.
Exactly.
Any
Any
four-way,
FAI
Any
medal.
FAI medal. So I
Fantastic.
mean, well on them. They had a bad jump. Let's not talk about it. They're never going to forget it. We don't need to talk about it.
The problem is they will never allow me to film them again because I filmed them after round 4 in their preparation for round 5. You know,
jinxed
so
them.
to introduce a team which is on the way to make history in Germany,
Sorry, Kurt.
I posted it. And then I come back and I learned
redos
something terrible.
You can blame Kurt.
Well, they had a good round 6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're happy they're on
That's the only thing that'll fix that jump is another jump.
Yeah, they're on track to do great things for Germany, and it's awesome to see. It's unfortunate they had a bad jump, but we've all had them.
Yeah.
Yes. And the fat, I finished the story, the fat lady will probably sing in German. And she will hopefully do it. Anyhow, so we have been following 8-way.
The U.S. team's killing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they came out the gates with some big scores. Like, whoa, big numbers.
Yeah. But, and apparently the draw already they kind of given up on doing their world record average because of the draw. But I think they're jumping good, and Qatar is behind them. Qatar was like on 2 jumps, 1 point behind them, so they're very happy. But on others, they've also, I think on round 2 they slipped a little bit, where Germany was the same as Qatar. So Qatar's kind of bouncing in between, maybe a little bit closer to the US than what Germany is. So Qatar's safe in second.
Kind of like what's going on in the 4-way. You know, Hayabusa's had some rounds where they showed they can hold it their speed, and then there's been a couple where.
Yeah, well, let's go to 4. I mean, one thing, I think it's still also the first silver medal for Qatar, right?
Yes.
So
They've had bronze in Australia, and they had bronze in 4-way last year.
Yes.
So this is going to be the first FAI silver medal.
And there will be twice silver, you know.
No, they did a bronze. They did a bronze.
Once bronze.
No,
Bronze
in
and-
4-way, I mean, it could be a second silver medal.
Yeah.
There's still potential.
So let's talk about 4-way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the 4-way. It's been interesting. It's been great to see Hayabusa really hold their own on a couple of jumps. I think, considering the youth of that team and the experience. You know, when that 17 jump came up, you saw the lack of training.
Yeah.
But on the jumps that were a little bit more straight up, they were 1 point behind on a 27, 28. I mean, that's I don't know what do you think?
Yeah, no, the few of their rounds that I saw, they look great. Honestly, they look light and they look like they're moving well.
Yeah.
You might have watched more of their stuff, but yeah, it's very impressive. And so is the young French team.
Yeah.
A lot of energy there as well.
There's some strobe lights. You know, some
Yeah.
flashes of real brilliance. I mean, Dan BC walked by and he's like, those kids, they're going to be great.
Yeah, watch
That's what
out
he
for
said.
them, watch out
And
for
I
them.
was like, yeah. And then I watched a few more jumps and I was like, oh no, I see what he sees. There's some moments where you're like, ooh.
I think that's sort of what differentiates Airspeed and the other three teams right now is that, I mean, Airspeed didn't have a great round one, and they said it is a little bit shaky and a little rough, but the other three rounds have been magnificent, and they keep that pace. I mean, it's very intense pace, but they keep it up for the 35 seconds, rather than the other teams can hang in there for a page or two, but then there's little errors that create a rhythm loss.
And the double slot switching jumps, I saw it. Like, what did Airspeed get, 6 points or something on that jump?
Yeah.
On the 17 jump?
Yeah.
But that's experience, right? I mean,
Airspeed are moving very well as a team. I mean, I think that they ran and worked the block. It all looks extremely dynamic. It's
easy. It looks too easy.
It's almost reckless but smooth. It's kind of like I know they don't have the same pressure, which is different as well. But at the end of the day, maybe that little bit of that pressure showed in round one. You know, you can't buy too many round ones at FAI World Championships, and you learn from them.
And they're expensive. they're not cheap.
They righted the ship very quickly there, and I look forward to seeing some more of their jumps.
So there's still the difference between any round one at any competition and the round one at a World Championship.
Yes.
I mean, and it's for me, it's the B slot stuff. They're consistent. A slot, B slot, across the boards, they're keeping that pace, and that's impressive to be able to. I mean, that one jump, the 17 jump, I'm like, didn't really see much of a difference, and scored 27 with 11 and 17.
Well, even the last jump with the 19 and 22, the round 4, they're super strong. You know, they also put it out there where they took everyone. I think Hayabusa was like a 23 with a bust or something like that. I don't have the exact scores, but then Airspeed was 27 or something. So
3-4 more points.
I think at the bottom line, this is Airspeed's meet. They've trained more than anybody else. And I think for me, the highlight of the four-way meet is the young French team. You know, they as Joey says, you can see the errors, but you can also see the potential in those guys when they go in there, and they're going to be a team to beat in the next 2 years, maybe for Israel or even thereafter. I don't know where their long-term plan is, but they haven't surprised me because I saw some of their Facebook posts and you could see how good they are, but you didn't know if they could hold that for 10 rounds. And you can see the mistakes. The round 1, the 20 exit was not their best out there, but they managed to get it back. When it gets going, it's good. So
it's still the first world meet also for two of the SB members, right? Christopher, Joey,
Yes.
haven't been a world meet yet, so it's pretty impressive that they're
four-way.
also holding it up in four-way. Chris in eight-way, but Joey totally new.
Joe's totally new, and Brendan.
Very impressive stuff. I mean, just if you just put your four-way hat on and you watch some of those airspeed rounds, like great rounds. They really are phenomenal.
Well, you have four-way hats on too. Actually, you have other assignments here. It's not only Hayabusa and airspeed and Qatar and France. They are related somehow because you're working with the Tigers, right?
yes, I mean Qatar. If I could take every jump and cut out like 2 seconds on one and half here, they've jumped in those segments. They jump better than they've jumped. So in that sense, they're good. They're attacking. They're doing good. But in every round, out of the 4 rounds, we've had 5 busts, and some of them I don't disagree with. It's just heartbreaking when they land, and I think it's a good jump, and then you see a grip slide somewhere. And then they've had an issue where one guy was also a little bit low, so it happens. And unfortunately, it's a little bit like it happens in the training, and it's coming a little bit out in the meet. Although they are more focused, and the jumps for me so far are going well. We just got to eliminate the small penalties, and I think we're in the game. We're only 2 points
out of third, right?
2 points out of third,
4 points
and
out
4
of
points out of second.
It's still early.
I mean, there's a lot of football left, as they say in America.
exactly.
I'm back in America now, so there's a lot there's a couple of tricky jumps, a couple of slot switchers. They got 14 and 12 coming up. Then we got a couple of slow jumps today. If we get them, right now you
Weather's changing,
wouldn't think that it's going to get windy right now, but that's the threat. So maybe we only get 1 or 2, but we've got a tricky day coming up. I mean, the next jump is pretty easy, the 2 9M. But then we got the 14 and 12, and then we got 2 triple block jumps. Everything's going to slow down. Point average is going to come down. But it's a slot switcher on the 10 if you take it. And what's the other one? Is the
3-6-18.
yeah. So you've got the possible 3 slot switchers today if we get 4 jumps, depending on how you do the 10 jump.
It's a slower day.
It's a slower day, but it's
more
also
technical.
I mean,
except round 1.
things
of the
can
day.
go wrong. I mean, that's when you start slot switching and triple blocks and.
Yeah.
The hand sliding penalty seems to appear more regularly than it was in the past. Do you think it has something to do that the grips are becoming lighter, especially on the randoms? And
I mean, I think the rule is clear. If the hand slides, it's a slide, and it should be bust. But it's one of those where a hand is hooked
When
over,
you
as
go to
Joe's
this grip
explained.
instead of taking a gripper, you open yourself up to movement on the
And if
unless you're working really well with your piece partner.
Yeah.
You
the
open
very
yourself
light
up.
grips on the randoms sometimes can possibly
Yeah.
also, you know,
But I think the French girls were very unhappy with their first round with one in particular bus. And I must be honest, I didn't see it. I just heard from them. And then it was also one where if you're holding here, and then this person moves his arm to pick up a grip, and your hand is on top now, and the judges see this happening, but it's still on a grip. You know, there's no movement and there's no sliding, but they were busting that. And if they're looking at everybody and it's fair, then it's fair. You cannot go against it. But we had that. That's what we had with Qatar on round 1. So that was one of the busts that we were unhappy with, and apparently the French had the same. The French girls. So I can't say it's happening through the board that it's a big issue at all. Not.
You feel like he had a grip and it just the gripper.
Yeah. Well, the inside center, the outside center had this. The inside center went to pick up the grip. So this happened. So the hand, from the judge's point of view, this happens. You know,
that's tough, huh?
So that's a hard one, and
it can even happen when you have.
It can happen when you have a gripper.
Yeah, when you
but
have the gripper, it can move. I mean, I
because they
understand
go for
when you're hooking and you slide down.
Yes,
I'm like,
that's a bust. 100%. Yeah.
But
And 1 point wouldn't make a difference right now. So we don't hold it. It's just like to answer your question about if that's the judging. But I don't think it's a big issue. A slide is a slide, and it should be bust. And then sorry, I wanted to go on. We got stopped, but then Chimera is doing great for them. They had a bad start, but going into it. But then you guys are also coaching Norway. I saw Norway was doing super good. Germany, Denmark.
I think Norway had a satisfactory day yesterday, maybe a little bit more than satisfactory.
when they got scored for the French team.
Oh yeah, that is the highlight.
They scored
when
21.
Norway scored 22 or 21 on a tougher jump, and they had the wrong name of the country down at the bottom.
It was the French team, and I was like, man, that's really good for Norway. I knew they were young, up-and-coming kids with Carl Eric's back from the Norwegians.
Carl Eric made
now
an
you're not
impression.
all young and up-and-coming, but the rest of them are pretty young, right?
Yeah,
But I looked at the score and thought, man, that's pretty good for those guys. Solly, and he's like, that wasn't them. That was the French
I
team.
knew immediately because we actually had a grip hidden behind a helmet on the 17 exit. So we knew we were going to get buzzed for a point. And so when I saw the French exit come out, or the Norwegian exit come out, I'm like, that's not the same exit.
It's not what I just watched.
Anyway, we had a good chuckle out of that. But yeah, Norway did great. Germany, I think, a little bit dissatisfied with their finish. They had an awkward exit transition to the first couple of points in that round number 4 yesterday, which cost them a couple of points. So never leaves a good taste in the mouth when you have an okay day and then your last jump wasn't the best it could be.
Yeah.
So, but they have a good fight ahead of them because I feel like they know that they could be up a couple positions maybe on that board. So it's up to them now. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then my Paraguayans had a fantastic day. They had a rough round one. They had a lot of fun. That's one of the more fun teams out here. They have a great time.
I saw them last night celebrating in the South American community. There was a big
Fantastic.
group of Italy and all Brazilians and
I know the guys.
Paraguayans and Guatemalans. And
I mean, when we got Spain is in 5th place.
Yes,
that's
and
awesome.
that's
I mean,
incredible.
Come on.
That's
Yeah.
not really so much
Not
a
really
surprise,
a surprise, no.
but
but-
nice to see them being able to do that on the full pool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they generally
Yeah.
a
they're
SISM
still
team
pulling
and-
the star.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't make sense.
I mean, I know Sweden had a bad first round, and they've been training quite a bit out in Oceanside. Another team with the Germans been 8-Way's been out there. Mike Vetter's been doing really great work supporting some of these teams. I gotta shout out to him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike, for all that. He was actually, when I was an AFF instructor, he was here with the Swiss national team in like '93, and I was looking up to those guys, and now he's here, owns the drop zone, sponsoring some teams that are doing really well. But Spain, I mean, that's not a surprise, maybe, but Sweden had a rough start. Great Britain, Great camera work from the guy on the Chimera team.
Yeah.
You watch, see how steep he is?
Yes.
He is
Yeah.
super good camera work. I'm like, wow, so steep.
Yeah, I think we have an exciting few rounds ahead of us here this afternoon. Some things can change.
Hopefully.
Certainly at the top of the leaderboard, barring airspeed and female category.
Yeah.
All tied up, huh?
In
USA
motion.
and
Yep.
I mean, you
Nice.
gotta say NFTO, huh? I mean, they're having a great
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah, they're moving well.
I thought they would be more of a competition. I mean, it's not over. What is it? 7 points?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
7
they've
points up.
trained, you know, they've
500
trained a
jumps.
lot.
They did 500
Yeah.
jumps.
With
I mean, that's-
Andy Growitz now.
Yeah,
coaching them, so-
and a lot of tunnel time. So, and of course we all know the whole situation that they were in, and I take my hat off to them that through all of that they could keep focus and keep training, and they didn't sit back and say, "Oh, we're gonna fight this out." They fought the decision against them, but they kept training. So mentally, I think almost maybe them stronger.
it could, for sure. Maybe that you're
Yeah.
like that's something to fire them up. Like
They
We-
didn't,
we're
they
gonna
didn't
show
compete
them,
at the
you know.
nationals, so here
No.
now they can show that there's
What they
leading
could have done.
Chimera.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting,
Yeah,
interesting thing too.
Yeah, I think people
I
were,
mean, they're
were aware
quite a.
of that.
What is the difference between them and Chimera? Can we check that out,
Well,
Smitty?
it's pretty significant.
It is significant.
It's significant. Okay, we don't need that.
They're moving great. I mean,
They're having a great meet. They
yeah.
said also they're hitting above their average or whatever. They're doing really well. But this French USA battle, all tied up after 4 rounds. It's
Yeah,
With Mathieu Bernier on camera for the.
Yeah.
For the-
yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
doing camera.
And packing, and packing.
And
for-
packing.
We have to
Yeah,
check the
it's
video.
like-
We have to check the video on
Yeah, yeah,
penalties. You know,
yeah.
let's
Has he
see
had
how
any
he's doing
NJs?
that.
No, he's a
Dude.
machine.
Yeah, he's a
Like a
machine,
true
huh?
world champion.
Oh my god.
He said he's doing the 8-way team stepping in. He was filming the 4-way team. He's coaching the whole French delegation. Now he has some work to do.
They're
there.
quite a
likes it.
team, right? Because I joked with him about his next job was going to be pack, and he said, "No,
Yeah.
I've been there already."
I'm doing that.
He's
it's
bringing
promotion
coffee
to video,
probably.
so.
And,
But all round.
okay,
great
well
effort.
then I
I
guess
see
we
some
have to go.
four-way
and
people
you have
showing
to go
up
back
now.
to-
Some 4-way. I see the team starting to
Okay.
roll in. All
It's
the
a-
4-way teams
yeah,
are
it's
starting to
about
roll
time,
in.
I
It's about
guess.
that time to.
We gotta get going.
Well, thanks for taking a little bit time here for the first NSL Coaches Corner, the Magic Coaches Corner. We'll do that again.
Maybe we can talk
Yes,
tomorrow
that's
afternoon
great.
because it'll be
Yeah.
4-way early tomorrow morning. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
So
tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
afternoon during the 8-way.
Yeah, we'll be
and,
done.
And all right.
Back
Well,
tomorrow
Kurt,
afternoon.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks.